Welcome back to Rush of Madness, session number one. Welcome back, session one. We love that. Entitled Rusty Blade. And last session, the group got to know each other. We had descriptions. We had fun times, descriptions of everybody, getting to know you and getting to understand about the town of Cardent. At the end of last session, the group made it back to the Rusty Blade Tavern after successfully saving the unfortunate Burnlock Spencer from inside of his well, um, and his delivery was made to the Rusty Blade. So cider, apple juice, and the like are present. Um, Also, when you arrived, Balhild and her sons are present to recover Castia and take her back to the farm. They leave behind one of the sons, the oldest, I guess we could say the oldest. Um, the individual left behind is. What is happening with my computer right now? Sorry, bear with me here. Okay, so I think we're good. The individual that is left behind is Sarth, the oldest of the sons, and the rest of the family, plus Cassia, head back to the farm. Um, Balhild has some words with Albrecht. She seems very stern and kind of upset about something, but then leaves, leaving the group as a whole just moments after that situation here at the tavern. Um, and Albrecht gets back behind the bar and starts preparing um, foods. What do you do as a group?
We have a little merry time and then talk about what we're going to do with the rest of the with the missing, or see what we can do about the rest of it.
Is this the musical episode? We could have a song and dance number.
What
Yes.
time is it currently? It's afternoon, right?
No, it's closer to like mid morning, I'd say, because it was basically breakfast time when you went out to deal with. Oh no, because it has been several hours. You're right, Joe. Good catch. It is about mid afternoon, 2-ish, 3-ish.
Is it beer time yet? I know earlier he was like, it's breakfast.
Aye, always beer time.
Yeah, if he's serving, Glint would like to resume his seat at the bar and order a beer.
Okay. Yeah, Albrecht pours one, or drafts one from tap and sets it out before you. Shrugging and kind of looking over to another dwarf who was present at the tavern, kind of walks over and starts talking to him off to the side.
That sword he presented earlier, is that lying around?
No. It's underneath the bar.
Okay. I just wanted to look at it.
You can't steal his sword, chat.
I wasn't gonna steal it.
Were you not? Not yet.
So
if he dies, we will revisit this topic.
The dwarf, Lose and Orlandus would recognize is Milo. I believe everyone else, Ashergoth specifically, would know of this individual but not know his name. Ashergoth, you would know that he's affiliated with the agitators.
Okay.
The agitators being the sort of rebels.
Yeah, Albrecht's agitators.
Oh, right. And Albrecht is the bartender.
Correct.
Knowing him, I'd probably go to the bar and sit next to him for join him with a beer.
You'd say, heard about your or your day's work. Everything good. No, no Dennis Otvins or anything, right?
No, just fell down a well. Honestly, it could happen to anyone.
Hmm.
What brings you here?
Well, I just got done dealing with some matters up in a ways over at the Varnador home. They had some issues, something in the water over there on their little pond, and well, not good. Definitely a bit strange.
You bought them?
Well, it seemed that so the Varnadors they farm their fish and in the pond there, and they kind of keep to themselves. They do a bit of repair work for some folks who are interested in such and the like. Not in like larger stuff like wagons or what have you. The Wayne Wainwright deals with that, but they do some tinkering, and well, they said some of their fish were being seen on the surface of the pond, bit in half, or just bits and parts of them. So me and Balfield and her boys, we went over there to check it out, just to make sure there was nothing untoward. And well, Alice swam down there and came back up in terror. Seems that there's a hole in the bottom of the lake there, or the pond, and leads down into some sort of tunnel space filled with water, and the strange-looking, massive-eyed fish people tried to grab him up with these weird claw things, he said. And Balfield was saying something about Kuatoa. I'm not very familiar with them. I've never really heard it, the word. But she says it was some fish folk what live down there in the Underdark, the Fell Deep.
Is Glint familiar with Kuatoa?
I don't know. Is he? Do you want to be like just loosely
Sure.
familiar?
I mean, I'm not sure. On a scale of nuisance to monstrous menace.
They're monstrous menaces.
Okay, so probably somewhere in his wheelhouse.
Yeah. So what you would know, just basically, is Kuatoa are subterranean. They don't like the light. They won't come out onto the surface if they can avoid it, and they have a very strange kind of knack for manipulation of the white winds, faith-based functions.
So they've got like funky faith fish magic.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's kind of over there drinking his beer, and then as this individual is like elaborating on the goings on down by the pond, he kind of stops. And at first he's kind of just eavesdropping, but now he's like looking past Balgar. So now he's like leaning on the bar, looking past Balgar and like observing their conversation and like actually intently listening and not.
You're eavesdropping.
No, but eavesdropping is much more subtle. This is definitely listening in.
Yeah, those these elvish senses kind of catch the minute shift in the wood, and like the quick just look through the sides of your eyes kind of notate that you're being spied on. Someone's dropping eaves.
Yeah. Look over to Glenn.
He smiles.
Can we help you?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I just you mentioned Kuatoa?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Eat
mean-
the fish.
yeah. Normally they're not that big of a problem, but if you let them stick around, they can be a real menace.
Clearly, they're only eating half the fish. It sounds like quite a
Um,
waste.
Yeah, they'll start with the fish, but eventually they're gonna get kind of grabby.
True. You want to
So
help get rid of them?
I mean, we probably should. I mean, we don't necessarily have to kill them all, but we could try to run them off.
Albert kind of leans over to Milo and says, "You didn't have to go telling her. It's not a big deal." Kind of gestures towards you and then looks at Lose. "We got to keep our eye on the prize here. This is a nuisance, to be sure. And I know currying favor with the townsfolk is important. Especially what with the idealists over in Marshtown. But we gotta get in. We gotta get into this Vulture's Barrow. We just need to deal with... The serpent doesn't function without the head."
Yes, I'm also quite keen on getting into the barrow.
"Great, find a way to do it," he says, and he kind of like puts a cup angrily, onto a shelf and kind of looks down at your beer, whoever had one, just to check and see if you're done with it, so he can scoop the glasses.
Glint kind of takes his possessively, like, no, you can't have it back yet.
Mine's
I'm not
empty.
done with it.
Yours empty, you said?
Yeah.
He
Need
takes...
another.
Oh, he says, "Okay." Pours you one, sets it out in front of you, and kind of angrily goes to cleaning tasks. As you're kind of talking, the young lad kind of over here in the place that got left behind sits just directly at the table that Albrecht's at. Kind of just presses his elbows down into the table, sets his chin on his hands like this, and just kind of looks over at across the table at you, Al. Not Albrecht. My brain's dumb. Astrogoth. A lot of A names.
It's true.
He just sits at the table with you, across from you, Astrogoth.
Okay.
Look, a lot of the older people in our group, which I'm sure you're already aware of, are really interested in asking you a question, but they don't know how to. And I don't really know how to either, but I'm going to give it a shot.
While you're opening your mouth, that's always a good start.
I thought so too. They don't seem to get that. We need to get into Sepulture's Barrow. We would like to pay Mr. Lacoy a visit. Can you get us through the wall? Past the guards?
It might be a little difficult, but I'm sure we could probably work something out.
That's something you're interested in doing?
As long as there's no malicious intent.
He kind of lets out a sigh. Well, I can't say for sure whether or not Mr. Lycoy is going to be too happy with us knocking at his door. And as he's about to finish that sentence, Albrecht kind of says, "Hey, Sarth, what are you doing?" And he kind of looks up at him, kind of, shocked, like deer in headlights.
Busted.
What
Go
do
to
you
your room.
What do you do in response, Astrogoth?
Well, so this individual, the LaCoy, they were the like the people who were put in charge by the Denisovans, right?
Denisovans, yep. That's correct.
Okay, and I'm just trying to remember what their relationship would be with them.
So, I mean, you don't have a direct relationship with the Lycoy. You just have access to the area where that...
No, I'm sorry. I meant Sarth with Because I know that it's as a.
Oh,
how to phrase this.
Do you mean what Sarth's relationship would be to the Lycoi?
Right. Because I know, I imagine, is it the type of thing where
He's
it's just.
He's a rebel. Sarth is a rebel, so he wants to basically oust the Lycois.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. That makes sense. I mean, I imagine I'm trying. Astrogoth would kind of like reach over and like poke his arm to get his attention back,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like nod and do a head lean off to the side to sort of be like, "We can talk about this later."
Sarth kind of picks up on what's putting down, but you can see kind of like a boyish insecurity as he kind of gets up and walks over to Albrecht. And Albrecht kind of like leans across the counter and says, "What were you saying to him?" And Sarth says, "It's fine. Don't worry about it. I think I got it." And those who are close to that edge of the table, which would be Glint and Balgar, would overhear that, even though they tried to whisper it.
I think when Sarf leaves, the little vicinity, I'm gonna try to whisper to Astrogoth, do not take that boy there. He is full of wonder, and he's not ready to face the head. Not yet.
Astrogoth kind of nods and says, "Yeah, he seems pretty dense, and his head seems twice as so."
Yes, he wants to be on the front lines very badly, but not yet.
Clint moves back to the table and sits down and says, well, if you're not planning on taking the boy, perhaps you could take me instead.
Well,
For an equally as air quote innocent of a visit, I imagine.
Consider this a reconnaissance operation. I'm looking for somebody, and as far as I can tell, his last known location was the Barrow. And out of character, was he requested by the Lycoi, or was it just the Barrow?
Do you remember that?
I know it's written down somewhere. I just don't have that on hand.
Okay. So just to clarify it, he's not requested by the Lycoi. He goes into the Barrow, the district, past the gate, past the guards, and is allowed into the basement of that old space to basically perform for people who are
sorry.
drinking.
I was referring to James Abbott. I couldn't remember if he was specifically visiting the Lycoi or...
He was visiting the Lycoi family, but
Right.
Nobody knows what happened to him. The presumption is that the Lycoi are some sort of monster due to the fact that this monster hunter was seeking them out and has disappeared.
Right. Yes, he had some association with the Lycoi family, and I find that suspicious, to say the least. I have some suspicions of my own, but of course I can't just,
Right.
He looks around, makes sure like no one's too close, and he just leans in and goes, "Start killing people."
Well, as you have guessed, privilege into that area is kind of on a exclusive basis, and I'd rather not lose it. So if it's just something simply as looking for someone, I imagine that we can probably get over there and bring you along.
Right. I'll just, tag along and, I don't know, carry your stuff.
You would overhear back at the bar that, and Balgar specifically, you'd hear them kind of argue back and forth, Sarth and Albrecht. And it seems like Albrecht is kind of coming on very fatherly towards Sarth and just explaining to the boy that he's too headstrong and he's going to get us in trouble. and that he didn't want to ask the bard to go into the place yet. And then he says to Sarth kind of loudly, "Go back to your farm. Make sure Castia is okay." And Sarth kind of like, "Hey," and gets up and heads on past Orlandis. As he's passing Orlandis, there's kind of a look of like, for Orlandis, Sarth kind of looks at you kind of pleadingly. There's like a look in his eye like, "We can do this."
Mm.
How do you just kind of like disregard it, turn your head? How do you respond to his kind of
Orlandis is gonna hold his stare, and as he's passing, he's gonna tap him on the shoulder, and he's gonna shake his head like mildly.
Sarth kind of like picks up the pace, heads right out the door, and heads out towards his farm.
Glint watches him leave and then stands up and kind of moseys on back to the bar.
Albrecht, kind of looking at Lose and Milo, says, "We're not strong enough. Not after what happened with the Idealists." And this is loud enough for Balgar to hear before Glint kind of makes it over. It's foolhardy to rush into the house, even if we had all the information. We just don't have the power. We don't have any strength.
He says this out loud.
Loud enough for Balgar, Lose, and Milo to hear.
Okay.
And then Glint would arrive after he's kind of said his piece there.
So while I'm assuming Astrogoth is still staying where he's at.
No, I'll get closer to the bar.
Okay. So yeah, if Astrogoth is going, then is it just us, like everyone here at the
Yeah.
bar? Okay.
At this point, everybody who's on the board is on the board. There's no other people. There was a family of farmers earlier this morning, but it's that after lunch, kind of like before dinner kind of point at a restaurant tavern.
Like it's really quiet.
Yeah,
And then when dinner comes, then it's like, fuck, everyone's here.
it's all employees.
All right.
Taking their breaks, cleaning.
Orlandis is gonna try to get Albrecht's attention, like asking for a beer or whatever.
Yeah. But
Albrecht.
well, real quick before that, sorry, I wanted to kind of give an opportunity for Balgar, Lose, to kind of exchange with Albrecht if they wanted to. So he basically said to you two, "We just don't have the strength yet."
Yeah. Well, as I've said before, I don't mind taking them on one by one.
And rushing in there's not a way we're going to be able to do that.
Don't have to rush if you're taking them. There's always official duels.
Granted, but again, they're not stupid. They will pick up and they'll figure out where we're coming from. Glint, you arrive, and then shortly after, Astrogoth and Orlando. So, Jonah, you had a thought?
Yeah, he's gonna ask for a beer. And then, out of character, do we know of sending stones or like those message stones?
Message stones aren't here. Cities.
Okay, got you. So, okay, yeah, good. Albrecht, is there any way to listen in on what they are planning? Or is the only way we can do that to capture one of them?
Look, I'm not the strategist here. I have no idea. I couldn't say for certain. That's up to you to figure out. I would like more people to help us out, but I don't think there are going to be too many more folk inside of the town that are going to be outright helpful, unless you somehow turn Lakefront, Marshtown, and the people therein to our cause. I mean, we're hardly even a band. Like, this is not a very massive force.
We do need an army.
Oh, I see what the threat is here. Okay.
But you know, Marshtown, they do not care unless it is on their ground.
I'll be honest, Orlandis, if half the people we had were half as good as Lose, we'd have no issues here. This would be easy. We could just walk in there and turn a blade and be done with it. But we've got kids. We've got I don't mean this to be mean, Milo, but we've got green fighter types who are just kind of getting into their element with the weapon. Milo's like, none taken. Um, we're not a strong force to be reckoned with here. I mean, we hardly dealt well with the patrol. And the idealist took quite a bit of our force, quartered us. So, if we had, like, magic weaponry or spells or something, we don't have that. We have your brain, and we have the people I've been able to muster to our cause. That's all we got.
I know a little something that may be able to help you with that.
Assuming all eyes turn towards the dwarf.
Absolutely.
Have you ever heard of Daggett and Blaze Hatchet?
Milo says, of course.
Ancient smith, one of the first of our clan. He used to have an old redoubt near this very town. Only a day's travel to the east. Tale has it that most of it has been raided, looted by now, but I know of something. I know there are things still hidden in there.
Milo kind of says, are you talking about the Black Spear? Nobody's been able to find it. It's somewhere in the Stout Wood, but no one's seen it.
Pull out my map. I happen to have the key.
Albert kind of, okay. Well, do I understand you correctly, Master Dwarf, that if we help you in your treasure hunt, you'll try to pull some of these powerful weapons to aid us?
I could aid you quite a bit, I'm sure.
Looks to Orlandis. This is an opportunity we can't pass up.
We cannot. Seems we have golden egg, if you will.
I don't disagree.
But the question is, are there patrols there? Is it dangerous?
The only person I know who travels and delves into the Stout Wood is Funlock. And you just saved his life, so he might be willing to tell you what he knows.
Well, I know that he's not going anywhere for a bit.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not leading us there.
He'll tell us anything except where he gets his apples.
I would say it'd probably be best to leave at first light, so it's probably not wise to just set off in the middle of the day.
Yes.
You said there was someone else you were wanting to check in on, Orlandis?
Yes, I wanted to go see Eloric's his mail, just to see if we could find anything else on his whereabouts, or his possible whereabouts.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like, something you can go ahead and get done before nightfall. Albert kind of looks in at Volgar. This is a great offer you're putting forward to us. That's a lot of what we're looking for.
Well, there might be some ancient artifacts from my clan inside that I have particular interest in keeping a hold of for myself, but they're surely master-crafted ancient magical blades and such still within those walls.
Milo kind of looks at Albert as he kind of looks over at him for kind of confirmation. Milo's kind of like nodding. And Albert turns back to you. Then at first light, my associate Orlandis will be off with you. I'll remain here in the town to make sure that everything kind of remains pleasant as it has been for the last 6 days.
And if it's all the same to you, I'm still performing tonight, correct?
Of course. You obviously have to take Lose. She's the best sword we have, and she'll serve you best inside. Whatever things come for you, her blade can probably set them down.
Aye, those of us sitting here at this bar, we made a pretty good team the other day when we saved Brunlock.
Today. Still today.
This morning.
This morning. Sorry.
It's been a few beers.
I know.
It's been a few beers.
Time
Gwen
travels.
just kind of like stares at his beer and he says, "Yep, we sure did."
Okay, well, if you're signing up with the agitators, I can offer those that work with me to aid you. You said the people who helped you out this morning looks at Orlando's. Is that in Castia?
Yes. But I know she is busy now, so
Ballfield's probably not going to be too keen on the idea of sending her out green into the forest.
yes, we should. Well, she knows what she's capable of, and Bathilde, I am sure, does not want to lose one of our only healers.
This could be an opportunity for you to get some of the water out from behind Sarth's ears, too. And I think it'd probably be smarter, or at least Ballfield would probably be more receptive to the idea if her strong boy was able to go with you.
It could, it could prove some experience for him, and maybe he loses some of those wishes that he wishes to do.
Yeah, temper him a bit.
Hmm.
Don't let him get killed or anything, but yeah.
No, I will not. I think we have suffered too many losses already.
I'm gonna say it's probably best you go check out the mill. And if you want to take these fine folk with you, Milo, you good to move? Yeah, I'm good. Definitely. If you want a hand, I can go with you to the mill.
Yes, this will work. But I mean, if there is danger, you are capable. Yes.
You would know Milo's soldier.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah. So then, yeah, we'll take him.
He fights with a short sword. He's got a shield, studded leather. Pretty agile guy.
All right. Yeah. So yes, let us get ready and then head on to Elric's mill.
Astrogoth kind of brushes off his clothes, and he's like, "Oh, it sounds like this would be more entertaining than just sitting here. Maybe I can tag along as well."
Yes, indeed. This will be good.
Albert kind of looks to Astrogoth and says, Sarth talked to you about what we're hoping to do regarding the Lycois.
He mentioned it, yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to put that on your plate this early. I was going to try and befriend you a bit first, and then maybe, after getting to know you and find out what you're all about, decide, if it's something that you were interested in doing or not. So I'm sorry about that. And I get it. Marching up against the Denisopans probably not something someone who's as worldly as you are is going to be terribly keen to do. I mean, they may be small in number here in Cardend, but that doesn't mean anything. Up the mountain, they're a bit stronger, so...
Well, it goes both ways. I need to see what you are all about as well, and besides, the best stories out there are not the ones where the end is obvious, so who's to say this won't make a good story in the end?
So I'm hearing that you're probably interested in checking out the mill, sure, but sounds like you're probably more interested in bigger stories, like what our friend Balgar here is talking about.
That one is a little too difficult to let up. I apologize for the puppy squeak.
Adorable. Okay. So Albert kind of nods, looking to Orlandus. Looks like you've got yourself a pretty decent crew here. 2 Scalds, a monster hunter, best duelist I've ever met, and a tactical genius, basically formative, getting them all together, and we'll see about the healer girl and the lad. Go check out what's going on with Elric. I'll send a message over to Balthild. She probably won't want any customers or people coming around until after dinner, so keep your schedule open.
Right.
All right. What happens next?
Oh, writing down notes. I'm sorry.
No
We're
worries.
gonna go to the mill, right? Yeah. We're gonna go to the mill after
Okay.
we get a few drinks in, and then see what's going on over there. See if he fell down a well too.
And Milo will be accompanying you.
Yes. It's
I mean,
this.
We're hanging
Don't-
around the tavern for a little bit longer. Glint would love to take a closer look at Albrecht's sword.
He's not going to offer it.
Well, can Glint ask for it?
If you ask to see his sword, his response is as follows. If you'd like to see my sword, it'll be brandished against you. I don't draw it out unless I'm in a mood.
Oh, well, I
There's a reason I like you.
figured as much from, the demonstration earlier.
I was threatening you, boy.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Looks over at Orlandis.
Orlandis is doing the same thing.
They're
I'm
both
doing.
kind of looking at each other just like this. Like,
Lucy leans over. You know, you don't really have to necessarily be bright to be able to fight well.
As if that is not the truth. Okay. Let us
Yeah,
go.
never mind. It's a monster hunter.
so, eerie drama music, of course, as we last
Ooh.
discovered the last time we looked at the mill. You take a casual stroll from the Rusty Blade and head on over to the mill. And as you remember from the map, it's just kind of a trip to the west a bit, then north, and then kind of like up in that way. You come to a point where one of the numerous forks of the Raneth River kind of moves through the town, this being just yet another one of them. And this one powers the River's Mill, Elric River's Mill. As I explained last session, during the formation session, you'd see that there is a cart sitting out front. It looks like it's laden with barrels and bags, all different types of grain. A couple of the bags have already been pulled off and are on the ground. And it does look like there is it doesn't look like the mill has been locked down. So typically when you're not operating the mill, you would seize the chain on the mill side to stop wear and tear of it spinning in the water. But it's going. It's just going. And looks like there's, normal, what you'd expect, foot traffic on the ground. But again, unless you want to investigate that in any other kind of method, nothing clear or identifiably wrong.
Do they look like some of the foot traffic is recent, or is it?
You can make a survival roll if you'd like.
All right.
He sees 13.
Oh no.
So
Nope.
as you're kind of
Looks normal to me.
yeah, you're kind of inspecting, and it just looks like the wagon tracks. Somebody left the wagon and wandered off. Nothing really present there. And
I'm gonna, based on what we heard about the pond having that tunnel underneath it, I'm gonna walk over here and inspect like the wood, see if there's any damage to it.
okay.
Like the wood over here.
You said regarding the wheel, you mean, or regarding the?
The where the canoe is, this little dock.
No, it doesn't look like it's damaged at all. Looks like it's decently moored in position. It looks like it's just fine.
Okay. And there's nothing on like the surface of the water, right? Like no upturned fish or
Nope.
whatnot. Okay. All right. And some of these crates, they look like they've been there.
Yeah, and so there's also bags that look like they're out of the wagon in question.
Do any of the bags look like they would have been dropped or interacted with as in a hurry or something? Like, you know how if you were holding something and you're surprised, you'll drop it and then...
So a great question. The first thing that you notice is that the bags look like they have tears and kind of rips of them, and a lot of the grain that was inside of them is kind of sprawled out towards the house, kind of close to this right side of the house.
So that would mean that they were probably spooked from the other direction then.
Well,
something coming from the road.
Go ahead and make I would say, investigation roll for this. You're kind of looking at these fine details.
Oh no.
So yeah, if
Could
you
I give him my magnifying glass?
a bit late, but if you
I was paying attention. I was just muted.
no worries. It wouldn't have helped too much here. But yeah, it definitely doesn't look like you're really kind of coming to any conclusions regarding like what has happened here. It just definitely looks like the bags were kind of put down onto the ground, kind of pulled off of the cart and kind of ripped open, and a lot of their contents have been moved, and there's a lot of residual, like droppings that have been kind of made of the grain, kind of lead back behind this mill house. Everything's coming up mill house.
2 questions. Or actually, I guess 3 questions, but that depends on the answer of one of the questions. Are there any rats around, kind of nomming up this extra grain?
You can make a nature roll to see if there's any signs of that.
Okay. And my second question was going to be, does it look like rats tore these bags open?
That'll be included in the nature roll.
Okay. All right. Well, give me 1 second here.
You got this. We played on Monday. Your curse should be gone.
Well, the problem is,
Puppy.
yeah, you're right. I'm glad you remembered that. So, yeah, the problem is I'm not proficient in nature.
That's fine.
I'm not proficient in survival.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Just make that roll. You got this.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So, nature.
Oh yeah.
The curse is over.
So
yeah.
You would know
Alright.
it's not rats. Whatever seized open these bags had a bit more powerful kind of ability to kind of rip these burlap sacks open. It doesn't look like they were kind of chewed. And the amount of kind of that's been taken, if this has been gone for a 3-day, it looks like it's probably some other type of woodland creature. And based on the trail, it looks like it's going into the copse of trees behind the mill, not the mill proper. So it's probably something like raccoons or other kind of omnivore creatures of...
How big do I think this thing is? But the trail basically looks like something came and took a bunch of stuff out of this bag and was sort of dropping it as they went on their way. Okay. And is like the trail distinct and like clear?
It's clear enough to know that it just kind of goes into the woodlands and is not really kind of anything to do with what might be wrong. Just that this has been here long enough, this cart has been here long enough that Mother Nature's kind of getting to it.
Yeah, that wasn't the initial angle I had, but yeah, that was kind of the conclusion I was arriving at. So, and so far we haven't found any like tracks or anything of the people.
Correct.
Okay, that's gonna be. Yeah, that's gonna be the next thing I'm gonna look for. People tracks.
Sure. We've gotten good questions from Elizabeth with bad rolls. We've gotten good questions from both Zach and Chad with pretty good rolls. Well, no, sorry, Zach, bad roll also. Joe, do you have any questions about the specific environment that's present? Also, Jonah asked questions about the boat. But yeah, Joe, just to make sure you're not left out.
I'm just paying attention to what everybody else is doing and kind of taking in this beautiful scenery.
Very cool, very cool. Make a perception check because I'm feeling generous.
Oh no.
I'm gonna give you advantage for it because I'm feeling generous. The Woodsman's axe, the 22. The Woodsman's axe does appear to be a bit higher quality than your stereotypical Woodman's axe.
Oh, I want to check that out.
All right. As you make your way over to it, you would notice that it has been rehafted, which means that the wood of the weapon has been replaced at some point. But you can see that the blade is made out of pattern welded metal. And you can see that there's a maker's mark on the underside of the beard of the axe. 2 axes crossed with flames behind.
Ah. It's forged by my clan. This is a fine axe.
Oh shit.
Definitely strange to see a battle axe, which is what this weapon is, being utilized as a log chopping axe.
Hi, this is a warrior's weapon. Not necessarily something any simple folk would use to chop wood.
Maybe he really hates trees.
I put the axe in my bag.
Okay. The thing that Orlandus would notice as Balgar's talking and he's kind of moved up to the door is that the door appears to be slightly ajar. Like, there's no lock. Nobody's kind of settled a latch or anything. It's just been kind of left open slightly.
Okay. Losay, come with me in here, just in case. And then he's gonna slowly open the door, walk in, and then check the surroundings.
Okay. 1 second.
Oh,
So I've moved you to the other map, and I'm going to focus in on that for the viewing purposes. Those of you who enter in, you'll see the insides as it comes to it. The place is completely kind of in shadow, but there's still a decent amount of visibility with light kind of peering in from different points. The entirety of the space has a musk that is very tangible. And it's also very irritating, especially to the elves' kind of more sensitive senses. It's just gross. The best way I can kind of describe it is vinegary, but like dirty vinegar.
is it more fish-like or dead body-like?
It is more not fish-like. It would be a bit more earthy than that, I would think. It would definitely have a like. Have you ever had like apple cider or apple vinegar?
Yeah.
Imagine that mixed with like a Root or Old Spice cologne. Like it's a funk.
Okay. Got you. Okay. I'm gonna light my torch so I can see.
It's not dark. It's
Oh, okay.
There's sunlight coming through. There are points of shadow, but you also realize that you are in a wooden space that is kind of filled with particulates.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah.
Because the grain is milled here. So
New chief exploder.
I know. Yeah, new chief exploder on accident.
Whoops. Okay. Yeah. Well. Fuck. Shit. Yeah. Me and Leslie will begin prowling. Look for the source of the smell.
Okay. So as you two kind of make your way around, I would like both of you to make a perception roll.
Ooh. Perception.
My favorite.
Okay. Not bad.
Could have been better. Could have been worse.
Okay, Orlandus. Who is moving in next behind them? I just want to be sure. If anyone is at all.
Oh yeah.
You would've-
slowly filling in behind, but not like rushing in because
Okay.
obviously there's no.
I got you. And then Anybody else going in, or still Glinton, Astrogoth, and Milo are still outside, kind of keeping an eye out there?
My intention wasn't to go in. I think what I would want to do, given that the size of the mill isn't that large, is maybe scope and see if there's any windows on the inside, or any windows to look in and see if there's any distress or something like that.
Absolutely. So there aren't so many what we would consider kind of windows. They're more like portholes, kind of like small
holes
little,
in the wall.
Yeah, small little square, but they're not big enough for like a person to kind of egress. They're just kind of small little, like maybe 6x6 square holes that have been kind of built up into the place. And it looks like there is on the front side that you can see directly over top of the door a very large, like maybe 3-4 foot wide hole, like circular hole with like a crossbar and set inside of it. This is kind of like a ventilation space where things will kind of naturally kind of flow out. And you can certainly tell that the grass is a bit more vibrant due to the kind of build up that's especially out in front. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
And then Clint, staying outside as well.
Yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
move
So
over here. He's basically gonna move down this side of the building,
okay,
like stealthily.
go ahead and move as far as you like. Stealth roll not needed. Orlandis,
Yes.
there's light present throughout the space,
Oh, fuck.
but there are shadows. Despite those shadows, you are able to see small, I would say maybe the size of like a mid-sized dog, creatures scurrying across the wood. And as they kind of move across the wood, their little bladed feetsies kind of stab into the wood, but don't make too much of a sound. But as you're kind of, especially over the sound of the winding of the gears and the kind of turning of the mill, which is ever present, but you're able to hear it. It's just like a sound. And you kind of look around and kind of see all these creatures, their small eyes kind of reflecting a little bit of the sunlight that's coming in. And you can see just kind of sharp teeth, kind of like bladed, as one starts to move towards the door and kind of start looking down. And just as that's happening, Balgar opens the door as it kind of recessed back after you entered in and kind of steps in, not really understanding what's going on. I would like for everybody to go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh, fuck. Okay. So, this is the perfect moment to try out my Cask of Tactics and my Commanding Presence.
How do you roll initiative on this sheet?
There should be an initiative button kind of towards the top middle. If you select
I see it.
you got to select your token on the map first and then click it, and it'll automatically throw you on the board.
Where was it? Commanding Presence. There we go.
All right.
What are these things?
Don't know yet.
Okay. Lost. It doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't matter for them. Okay.
Damn, Astrogoth.
All right. So, Astrogoth, you're outside. At this point, you're surprised. Nothing has happened for you to become unsurprised. So we're going to move through your initiative to more fun things. This creature drops down, catching Balgar off guard. This creature rushes out onto the platform, very quickly and deftly moving across the wood, scurrying down, kind of moving towards Orlandis. It raises up on its back legs, all four of them, raising its two front legs, which are large, bladed-like appendages, and kind of throws them forward. Not massively size.
6 legs?
Yeah, 6 legs. It's kind of insectoid / reptilian. It's very strange looking. It's also covered in chitin as well to kind of give you a formative idea of what it looks like. But
Gotcha.
Again, it's about the size of like a mid-sized dog. So like it's like the size of a halfling.
Yeah. The body is the size of the halfling. It's the legs that make it so big.
Yeah, the blades are most of the thing, for sure.
I got you. God damn.
and they all start scurrying like cockroaches, moving towards Meal in the dark. But yeah, it's going to one's going to attack Balgar. It has him surprised, so it has advantage. It will hit. It'll deal a total of 5 damage to Balgar. And then Orlandis, 14 probably misses.
Yep.
And 18.
Miss.
So rushes forward. You very quickly kind of raise your arms up, catching the blades on your gauntlets and kind of moving kind of into a defensive posture. I assume your shield has not been readied, so make sure that that penalty is there.
Oh.
That's
so
an
then,
18.
yeah, 18. Yeah, 18 would have hit. 18.
Okay. So 7 damage as one kind of lashes you like right underneath the gauntlet and kind of catches like in its foray of blades, kind of manages to catch a little scratch in your elbow. Glint, you are surprised as well, but because of activations, the sound of combat has happened. So during the surprise round, you are aware there's a fight, and you are aware that it's going on. Same's true for Astrogoth as well. Lose.
Am I aware of any other ways into the building other than the front door?
That's not something that you are aware of at current. Yeah.
So there's like nothing on this side of the building that I can see.
Lose, Orlandis was the only one who caught wind of the creatures attacking, if I remember correctly from our perception rolls. Wait, no, you got a 16?
16.
Yeah, you also saw them. Sorry.
Okay.
So you are not surprised during this round, so feel free to act as normal.
Okay. And just to make sure I have this right on combat stances, I was supposed to
Pick one on an initiative roll, yeah.
Yeah. So this is me picking one.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Cormorant stance.
Okay.
So that's the throw probing strikes. And I will.
You should be able to click the speech bubble. It'll just drop it out so we all have an idea.
Oh, okay.
No worries. Cool.
And then I will attack this one in front of me with the thin blade, and let me make sure I'm clicking the right one. Two-handed.
Okay. So
14.
14 is a miss. You kind of rush forward and kind of swing towards the neck. Kind of raises its arms. It had its arms up, kind of drops down, and you see its neck kind of shift backwards, and the plates on the back of the neck kind of lock with the plates on its back, and it kind of shush right off the top of it.
All right, you want to fight that way then?
All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. So at the end of your turn, you gain an additional focus point for each attack you have made since the end of your last turn, which means 1. So you'll have 1 focus point.
Okay.
Plus 1 for just normal focus generation, so 2 total. Orlandis, you are up.
All right. So as an action, I'm going to use direct the strike on Lasse. I'm just going to say, attack that one. And I point to the one she's already attacking. And then a bonus...
Well, real quick, you can use your reaction, Lose, to attack it. You make a single attack against the target.
Okay.
And as a bonus action, you were saying?
Yes. As a bonus action, I'm going to use Knight's Move on Balgar so he can step away from that creature.
Okay. So,
do I make
Hell yeah.
the same attack as I did before?
Yeah, single attack with the weapon that you're wielding. So it would be the 2-blade. That will hit.
Hey.
Okay.
Any opportunity attacks on you, Balgar, are going to be made with disadvantage.
As you kind of draw the blade back, you see Orlandis strike there and kind of point towards like the side of the neck. And as he kind of points at it, you see this kind of weakness in the chitin. You shove the thin blade in, and you hear a as it kind of takes the shot in the neck, and you quickly relinquish the blade, sending this kind of nasty, kind of reddish fluid, like a deep, kind of almost curdled like red color, onto the floor. And then he kind of points at Balgar, quick, and causes Balgar to kind of shuffle into the room. The creature kind of like had swung at you, swings again, but misses.
I'm gonna take from a movement. I'm gonna take I want to take a place in where I'm covering the both of them.
Okay.
It's not mechanically. It's nothing.
Mechanically,
but-
you're in this space, but you're kind of moving into a defensive posture for the two that you're
yeah.
charged with. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Balgar, have you been surprised yet?
What do you mean?
Have you had a turn where you didn't get to do anything?
No.
Okay, that would be this turn then. Let me double check something real quick. Yeah, so there's nothing against Knight's move, moving somebody who's surprised. It's not a reaction-based thing. So, perfection. Your turn is basically like, what the fuck is going on? Kind of like getting behind Lose and Orlando's. All right, back to the top. Astrogoth. The sound of combat is happening on the interior. You are aware that is the case. You are not surprised. You can act as you please.
I know that sound. Sounds like there's a job to be done.
If you're moving into the space, just let me know if you end up here or here.
I didn't see anything on the map when you did
Oh, was I in... Okay, here? Do you see?
that. Yes.
Or here?
I'm trying to remember my movement. It's my speed in... Is it...
Is your speed 30?
Yes.
That'll be a total of 6 squares, and diagonals aren't a problem. I don't mind them being just 1 for 1.
I think that was one of the top squares you had pointed to.
Yeah, so if you move 5 more feet, you'll be inside. So if you want to dash and go inside, your first 5 feet of movement will be shifting from that space into the space inside. Does that make
All
sense?
right, we can do that.
Okay. So when you enter into that space, you'll be there, and you'll be kind of opening up the door, and from behind it, you see 2 claws kind of slam against the door's edge and kind of tearing at it, as the creature that was Balgar's problem is now yours. You still have 25 feet of movement. Feel free to utilize that as you'd like. You do not have to keep running, though.
I'll mosey over here.
Okay. It already used its reaction, so it doesn't get to swing at you. It's all puff. It will then go to the creatures. They drop down onto this main level and start scurrying. Milo, looking in, sees shadows rush across and is like, whoa! And then it'll go to them moving in.
Oh no.
To the front. Rushing over its dead friend, all of them kind of bolt in. Astrogoths, 2 of them will be attacking at you, kind of seeing you as a very large target.
I get that a lot.
12 misses, but a 17 hits. And so you'll take 4 piercing damage. They're kind of short, so they're swinging at your legs, and you're kind of like, dancing backwards, and one of them manages to catch you like on the upper thigh. Then 2 of them... Actually, sorry. 3 of them will be attacking Orlandis, and 1 of them will be getting Lose. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 of them will get through to attack you, Orlandis, for 5 damage, and then Lose, 8 will miss.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Glint. So you're not surprised. You're aware the sounds of combat are present. You are not sure if there's a door around the back or not. And as you're kind of getting toward the back, it's a bit more of a high grass situation, so it's difficult terrain once you get into the space that tree is, this kind of area here. Muted.
Okay, so I know the action's going on inside the building.
Yep.
Can I use my action to dash, my item interaction to draw my short sword,
Mm-hmm.
and then my telekinetic bonus action mage hand to draw my parrying dagger?
I love that. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what he's going to do. He dashes around the building, and as he runs, he pulls out his weapon.
You kind of start hoofing it. You reach quickly and grab the knife. Your mage hand's throwing the other one into your hand, and you're just kind of straight dashing towards the end. perfect.
Yeah.
And
And that's where he ends up. Is right there in the door.
you can be inside or outside. Basically, you can shift in if you'd like, or you can stay outside the door. It's your choice.
No, let's go in.
Okay, so as you kind of move past, the door, around the door to your right is
Holy shit!
holy shit. Yeah. Okay. Let's say you are up. This is definitely concerning.
It'll be alright. I'm gonna spend my 2 focus points and make a strike against the one in front of me again.
Okay, are you using Dawn's Grace?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only one I currently have
Yep.
that I can use until I level.
Okay, perfect. So, 13 is 15, right? Because +2. That'll miss. That'll actually miss.
So then I get those 2 back and then 1 additional one for the...
Correct. Let me see here. You're still in Cormorant, so that means for each attack you've made, not each attack you've hit. So you'll gain 2 for the refund. You'll gain 1 for Cormorant, and then you'll gain
1 for the...
Actually, you'll gain 2 for Cormorant because you attacked because of Orlandus. Combos. So you have a total of I think you're at 5, which is your maximum.
Oh, that's right, because
It's the attack since the end of your last turn.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I like it.
Your turn is complete. It is Orlandus' up.
Okay. As an action, I'm going to use Inevitable Wave, one of the exploits, and I'm going to try to hit one of these creatures, preferably the one Lose was attacking.
Yep.
With my spear. It's going to be one hand. 15? Is that it?
15's going to miss.
Okay.
Sure. Armor class is 16. They're pretty...
Damn.
They're pretty weak damage-wise. They're just all armor and kind of a up or down attack. But yeah, that's going to miss.
Got you. And then as a bonus, I'm going to use Inspiring Word, and I'm going to place that on Astrogoth.
Okay. So Astrogoth, roll a d6, or Orlandus roll a d6 rather.
Got you.
And your bonus
5 plus 2.
So you have a total of 7 temporary hit points on your on top of your hit point total at current.
That's my turn.
Orlandus done. Bulgar, you are up. And not surprised. You kind of get the situation. A bunch of weird bug reptiles are trying to murder you with sword hands.
This mill is still very much in use for the townspeople, right?
You would think so.
Not currently, but
yeah, you would think so. But it looks like it's been a while since it's been used. It looks like there's a bunch of weird egg sacs kind of attached to a lot of the working parts.
Okay.
I've been here for a while.
A little bit.
I pull out a small crystal. I don't know, it just looks like an earthy colored crystal, and I strum my harp with it, and I speak in an ancient dwarvish arcane tongue. I don't know what the hell I say, but I say something cool.
Metal.
And I cast Shatter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right.
You want to catch
We
this
love Shatter.
top 3? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, top 3.
Okay. What's my DC? Cool. So you watch as he performs as he stated. You see kind of a pulse of magical energy kind of detonate like a shockwave behind the creatures. A bit of the manufacture and the wood kind of splinters out from that, and the kind of mechanism directly behind them just shuts, like it just kind of locks in place. The creatures themselves, you watch as their chitin kind of breaks into pieces, and you watch as the flesh underneath that weight just kind of slams out the bottom of them as they're kind of pressed down and just kind of splattered on the floor in front of Orlandus and Lose.
Orlandus is just going to say from his shield, very good!
I'll continue to play the harp with my hand and give Bard inspiration to Astrogoth.
Yeah. how it's really done, fake buttered. Sorry, not yet. Okay, Bulgar, solid turn. Astrogoth, you're up.
And now
That's-
to do that.
Astrogoth is gonna let out a hearty chuckle and be like, "You call that music?"
Ooh, Battle of the Bands, baby!
So I'm gonna use Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
I'm gonna blast this guy to the left of me, and I don't know. We didn't really talk about this, but given the whole archetype thing that I'm kind of going for, I kind of picture it as like him pulling out like a lute, and maybe he like lets out a little ditty on it, and it sounds pleasant to everybody else, but for whatever reason, this one particular creature just takes what is it? 1d10 plus 3 force damage from it.
Yeah, so if you click on, there should be a spell marker in the middle of your sheet. If you click that, yeah, so
It's actually added as an attack directly, so
Yeah.
I can do it that way.
perfect. So as you kind of strum the lute and like the bolt kind of fires from it, kind of detonating down into it, not visible, more kind of acoustic, but you kind of understand how it works. The note you pang at the end kind of causes it to and so it kind of slams behind the creature and hits between it and Glint. So the way you're looking at it, Glint, you see this kind of and you can actually see the air kind of distort and this smash and just dust kind of like flails between you and the creature as this near miss kind of burst on the ground.
Hold on, I need to tune it.
Starts. The creature, like not knowing what that is, kind of has this moment where it's like kind of looking at you and then turns behind it at the dust and then spins its whole body and starts flailing towards Glint. This one here and this one here are going to swing at Orlandis. So the one against Glint will miss, I think, a 10, and then Orlandis 19 and a 11. So
Both miss.
yeah, did you get your shield out?
Yes.
Oh, it's an action to ready your shield.
Oh. So no.
Okay, just to make sure you're aware. Like, so most people think a
Okay.
shield is very simple. You can kind of just loose it, but it's
So you have to strap it.
it's a bit more.
I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
On a
My
shield,
bad,
it's an
my bad.
action. No worries. So it's going to be 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And yeah, after that, the one who did draw blood, this one here, kind of has like a look of desperation as it barely gets through the armor. It then raises its blades up and starts digging into the ground. It's moving away from you. You get an opportunity attack
Okay.
against it.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. Please hit. God damn it. Nope. So he goes to jab the spear, but it bounces off the armor, I assume.
It disappears into the ground, and the ground kind of like makes a little bit of a crater, but there's no like visible tunnel. When it burrows, it seems to kind of like cause like a bit of a recess of the
Like
dirt.
Okay, yeah, like it closes up behind them.
Correct.
Okay. Got you.
It's more shifting through the dirt than it's boring a hole.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Goes to Glint, the one that swung at you, and it's there.
You said the other one burrowed?
The one to the north of it was here. It's gone now.
Okay. So there's no way I can like see it wherever it burrowed to?
Nope, underground.
Darn, I was going to try to pull it out of the ground. Okay, well, I guess he'll just, after dodging that attack from the one next to him, he's going to attack it back.
Okay.
With a
Yeah, that hits.
short sword. Cool. And then the offhand with the parrying dagger.
Well, you hit the first one. What's the damage?
Okay, so that's going to be 11 piercing.
Okay. So you rush forward, kind of get underneath it as it kind of swung up at you, raise the short sword up underneath it, catching it here in the neck where you know it's vitally wounding. Skewer it, and then very quickly discard it with the short sword, flipping the parrying dagger into an ice pick grip, swinging at the next one. Go ahead and give me damage with that.
That is 10.
You kind of, as you're spinning the blade, turn it so the tongs are not going to obstruct and smash the blade directly into that weak spot that Lose caught on the last one that you obviously knew about. And so you're kind of discarding the one off your short sword as you're impaling the other one with your parrying dagger, kind of pushing it down to the ground, looking at the situation, seeing that there is no longer any fight. All of the creatures are defeated or routed.
He spins his weapons and just like flicks the guts off of them.
It's gross blood, and it's basically just like a more amplified version of the smell I described upon entry. It's like you broke open the can of the Old Spice mixed with apple vinegar.
Uh, So while we have this, reprieve, Orlandis is going to turn to Glint. Glint, find out what these creatures are, and everyone else be ready, just in case. And then he's going to start walking off, trying not to stomp out the bodies, and see what the hell is going on in this mill.
Sure. So just to explain like the setup so you understand, like there's kind of a drop that kind of falls a little bit down. You'll see that it's kind of like the gray area with the gears underneath. And the mechanism's kind of built into what you would call like a sub-basement or like a kind of just under crawl space. But that crawl space is visible to you because there's no real floor. So it's easily accessible and fixed. It's no longer working because the mechanism on the far right side was broken by the shatter spell, and this has caused the entire mechanism to seize up. It's in all honesty, Balgar, as you're looking it over, and as Milo's kind of rushing in heroically in this last second, you'll note that it's fixable. It's certainly fixable. It's just not something that's going to be. It's going to be a couple days' job. The area is covered with kind of a strange, dustiness, and these sacks are kind of like glued onto different points. The best way I can kind of describe it, and I know everyone will get this reference, is it seems that this strange resin has been kind of set forward onto the points where these eggs are present, and some of these eggs look like they're dilapidated, like they haven't had time to kind of grow, or they are just not going to work out. They just look kind of unhealthy, I guess is the best way to describe it, or not fertilized. But it's,
so chances are they won't make it anyway.
The reference I was trying to get at is the eggs and the resin is very similar to kind of the material like that you would see in like the Alien franchise. It's kind of like glued onto it, and the eggs actually glow with like a white kind of almost magical like light. That was also
stab one.
Yeah, absolutely. Upon doing so, kind of a creamy fluid kind of erupts out. It has a look of it's not very. The word viscous always troubles me. It's not moving very quickly, which means it isn't viscous, right? Or it is viscous. It's thick. It's thickwood. Yeah. It's kind of like a weird.
Viscous means that it's
good to run. So it's not viscous. It's very just thickwood kind of. It's goopy. It's goopy.
Thickwood. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a new word.
I like it.
And yeah, if you have Arcana trained, you can go ahead and make an Arcana roll.
Okay.
Upon seeing the thickwood.
Thickwood.
Why do I have this window that won't go away?
So, Glint being a monster hunter, you would know that the creatures you just fought are called Kruthiks. You would also know that their breeding methods are pretty similar to kind of insects or spiders, mainly spiders. They kind of just lay out a bunch of eggs, and like the strongest kind of survive. So that's very much the case that some of these probably will hatch, but not all of them.
Well, not if we have anything to say about it. Yeah. And he just gets to stabbing, just like every single one, even the ones that look like they've already failed. He's just destroying all the eggs and then gathering up the remains and throwing them outside.
Cool. Okay, so that's what Glint's doing. While that's happening, What is Lose doing? Also
Uh,
stabbing the eggs, or do you want to do something different?
I think I'll start. I'll stab one more, and then I'll start going in with Orlando's, hopping onto this,
Okay,
and over on this walkway.
cool. On the catwalk, yeah. And then Orlandis shakes his little toe. Oh, sorry, got caught in the song. Orlandis, you said you're looking around. Were you looking for anything specifically?
I'm looking for any like human remains or bones,
None.
stuff that could have been, found, like anything of Elric's, really.
Yeah, Elric, you would know, like basically lives on the far side, like over, on the far side of the mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looks like the space is kind of just normal, except for the right near, like on his dresser and stuff. It's got the eggs all over it,
Mm,
Gross.
but there's no
Um,
signs of him.
okay. And does like, hmm. Hmm. There's no signs of him. Does there appear to be like a struggle where he presumably slept?
No signs of that you can see initially, but if you want to take time to kind of search it out, you have three options. You can make a survival roll, an investigation roll, or a perception roll. Depending on which one you choose, depends on the results. Will determine the results. But while you're figuring that out, Balgar, quick note, stone cutting is a thing that dwarves have. So you would have seen the creature go in and burrow down. You would know immediately that based on the way that it kind of caved and it's kind of sitting, there's probably a recess or cavity in the stone beneath you.
I would take out my smith's tools, like I don't know, a pick or something like that,
Yeah.
and start fucking with it, seeing if I can get it to open.
Okay. Slamming away at the place where it burrowed down. Okay. That starts happening. And then last but not least, Astrogoth. You see everybody kind of doing their own things, moving about in that way. Milo kind of walks over to what Balgar's doing and starts helping there where he can, moving the dirt, the strikes.
Is that a desk over against the right wall there?
Yeah.
I would probably want to start investigating and seeing what's there, if there's anything worth reading, taking, or anything like that.
Okay. So you kind of start moseying around over at the desk, opening up the drawers. Inside of the side drawers, you would note that there's paperwork. It seems to be an accounting ledger with notations regarding different farms. The main ones being Rallin, which is another farmer nearby. Looks like there's also a lot of notation regarding a farmer named the person who seems to be using this service the most is Ronilda, whose farm's kind of south of here, not too far away. But it does look like most farmers in the area have had need for the mill because they weren't able to kind of process the large amounts of grains they had in certain kind of seasons, and they needed the assistance, and this is where they seem to have gotten it.
How recent is the most recent date on it?
About 2 6 days ago, so near into the last month.
Okay.
And yeah, if you'd like to kind of investigate the desk any further, you can go ahead and make an investigation check.
Sure, why not? I have a 1 in it.
Okay. So yeah, you search through the desk. The kind of resin and such kind of glues some of the spaces together, not shutting off any access to anything, but it definitely kind of makes opening certain drawers a little harder and annoying. But you don't find anything untoward here. Just a lot of ledgers and kind of business stuff. This appears to be their work desk.
Okay.
All right. Opening up the floor to anybody who has any ideas as to what you're wanting to do as Clint continues to smash eggs.
I'm gonna use survival.
And the pick happens to be... What are you using survival for? Just making a roll for no reason, or were you...
No. One of the 3 rolls to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot the prompt.
I didn't want to interrupt, so I just waited.
Okay.
You're a good boy, Jonah.
You are such a good boy, and I totally satisfied you. I'm sorry. Okay, so as you kind of study and kind of look around the area, you see that these creatures have been here for quite a while, 6 days or more, possibly 2.
Shit.
It doesn't look like there are any signs of human life, which you would know Elric is. He's a Judaran. You don't see where he has gone at all.
He's only been missing for 3 days that we know of, though, right?
Yeah, the last person who talked to him for certain was Ballfield about a 6 day ago.
Ballfield.
Yeah.
Wait, it was
That's-
a 6 day ago?
Yeah.
I have written down 3 days.
No. So
Oh,
the last person
I'm sorry, Jonah.
it's okay. Let me explain.
You're right.
Let me explain the situation. Last person that that talked to him was Ballfield 6 days ago.
Yeah.
The last person that contacted him that you are aware of and haven't talked to is Renilda. Renilda brought the cart up this way, and she said it was fine when I went up there.
But she didn't actually talk to him.
She said it seemed fine when I went up there.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so she never actually went in nor saw
Yeah.
him.
So it was between 6 and 3.
Okay. Shit. But these creatures look like they've been here for more.
Than that, yeah.
Sus.
Indeed.
Mm.
Is there a way to get down to the next, like, to where the
Current-
gears are?
Currently being, you can just pop down, but it does look like there's a way to get down into the earth because Balgar is smashing away at it. It's just
Is there a way to turn off the mill?
mill's already turned off.
I thought it was still running.
It locked because of the
It
shatter.
got shattered.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's not running because it's broken.
It broke. It did.
But Balgar, you and Milo are able to kind of make the burrow mound that the creature created kind of fall in on itself, and you create a hole directly down. Looks like it goes down about 20 feet into a cave below. The sounds of kind of hissing are immediately apparent as the dirt that you kind of caused to fall down falls down, but then it kind of goes silent down there. But it definitely sounds like it's probably infested.
Sounds like there's more of them down there.
We need fire. Lots of fire.
Mm.
No. Do you need help over there?
I don't plan on jumping down in there, but as soon as we leave, there's probably more that'll come back up and nest this place all over again.
Yes, and if we fill in the hole, they'll just dig another.
Might as well kill him off then.
You said it sounds like there looks like there's a cave system down there.
It's a hole that drops down 20 feet, and you can see that it looks like it goes into a larger cavity, Balgar.
Yeah.
And the first reaction that you got upon slamming the stone and causing the dirt to kind of fall down in that hole position is a kind of sound.
If nobody's using the mill, maybe we could see about diverting the flow into the tunnel. If we don't have fire, maybe drowning will work.
We could try that. See what happens if they come out of the
Frankly,
ground.
that's a brilliant idea.
Aye.
So we begin diverting the water.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and move to the outside map. Hold on a second here. Bear with me as I try and pick everybody up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, 3. All right. I think I got everybody but Balgar. There we go. Oh, no, it's not Balgar still.
Oh no.
He figured it out.
Oh,
Joe, the
they've
move,
become
the move through walls. And Explorer mode should be working. You should still be able to see that map that you just left, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, just like a little grayed out.
yeah.
So yeah, you step back outside, and the water kind of, flows in your general direction. So the map kind of has it keyed towards it kind of flowing northward, which it gets depends on how you look at it. It's flowing southward, the water. It's kind of a messy map. But yeah, for my purposes, just invert the idea of the waterfall. It goes underneath the bridge, but it drops right before the bridge. And then, water flows southwards.
Okay.
It kind of looks like it flows the other direction, but yeah.
Whichever direction you want it to flow.
It flows south.
Okay. It's going south.
But yeah, if you move around the back end of the mill, there's really no connection to like the front of the mill. You would need to kind of, it'd be an effort to flood it, but it's not impossible. It just would take a lot of work, probably more than this day would probably have light for, because it's probably closer to portion of the afternoon at this point.
Well, we left around like 3-ish.
Yeah. It's probably closer to 4 at this point.
Yeah.
What with the walk, the digging, and all of that.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there were like shovels or pickaxes.
They're oars.
How
they're-
long of a walk to town is it?
I mean, it's probably 20 or so minutes.
Yeah, I think trying to dig a hole from the river to the middle of this building is going to take longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to take a hell of a lot longer than the 40 minutes it will take for me to walk to town, buy a couple shovels, and then come back.
Yeah, you definitely don't have tools. But even with shovels, it's still going to take a lot of effort and time. It's not a easy process that we're discussing here. It's a cool one,
No.
but it's definitely going to probably take the better part of like maybe a day just to kind of divert the water to the front of the mill to a point where you can actually get it into
And
the hole.
I'm already exhausted from heaving stones earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
I can go get the shovels, though.
You know what? I will check the back of the lodge, see if there is anything worth. Just anything, really. We'll go this way.
A lot of like taller kind of grass and ivies, but on the back side of the house, nothing. Back side of the mill house,
Yeah. I wanted to go like around
nothing.
towards here or something.
Yeah.
Nothing? Okay. Then we'll go back then. There's like no divots in the dirt or anything, right?
Nope.
Okay. Go back then.
Glenn's gonna go digging around in like all the boxes and crates and corners he's gonna look in every container he can and just see what kind of random shit he can find.
Nothing.
What I'm really looking for is like lanterns and lantern oil.
Nope.
Nope, none of that. Okay, no like candles or anything.
Not a great idea to have that around. Kind
A
of.
beaver?
No, that's fine. So that stuff, so we've determined that this stuff is like very volatile and flammable.
Stop pinging my beaver, Jonah.
Like, what the
Unacceptable.
fuck is that?
Maybe it is a beaver. Leave him alone.
It's
Okay.
a fox, you goof.
And I am.
You got a little white nose and little white ears.
Any suggestions, Zach, regarding diverting the river? Any kind of things that you want to possibly try to do that? I mean, it's a sound idea. I just want to make sure that like the methodology is not just we do it. It's more of a we have
They're like a process.
yeah.
have
Not
some-
that my character would really know. Zach as an individual can tell you how. But I guess a second idea then would be if there's barrels here, we could always just see about filling up with water, rolling them in, and doing it manually.
That would probably take even longer.
Based on the size of the cavity, yeah, it would take quite a while.
Yeah, I guess that idea was more of if it was a hole instead of a tunnel, but
Yeah, I wonder if it'd be easier to go inside the tunnels and then breach a wall.
I think that would be really dangerous.
Widows
Yeah.
have to kill a bunch of them anyway.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
What if we like go inside, right, on this side of the mill, and then just
Are there
like
other entrances to the tunnels?
If you're
There's-
talking about break out the actual mill's wall, it would flood pretty quick. Yeah.
that's kind of what I was originally thinking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's an option. Hell yeah.
we just flood the whole thing.
Zach, I just wanted to make sure that the party understood the suggestion and we're doing the right things. Good job, Jonah. Tactically, that is the best way to flood the mill. So, if the grouping of you wish to take the time, the rest of the afternoon and then into the evening, smashing out the parts of the mill, making it effectively inoperable, and breaking up the lower portion of the wall, eventually you do start to see water. And then you're able to kind of break it to a point where it starts to fill out the bottom of the mill house, and submerges the gearworks underneath. And you notice that there's a whirlpool that kind of appears around this area here.
Yo,
I'm gonna.
after I solved that mirror puzzle as Avram, it's only gone up, baby. We've only gone up.
That is true.
There you go.
Eventually, it comes to a point where the water's movement and the spiral of the world just kind of level out, and it seems like it doesn't fill this the mill house above the water line outside, so it just stays in kind of the lower half of the mill house. It will be very difficult to kind of unflood the mill and set it to right, but you're pretty certain, just based on the fact that it seems that the cavity underneath is now filled with water, that the creatures are probably submerged.
I imagine it would be a lot easier to fix without things biting their ankles.
Correct.
Right.
Bears.
If I had to fight water or a hive of Kruthiks, I'm
Water.
gonna fight the water.
You can always like shift the mill.
Yeah, this is like fixing the mill is a later problem. Killing the crew is a now problem.
So at this point, it would probably shift to like a nighttime situation where kind of later in the evening, the water's kind of, filled out the space, and the mill is now inoperable. Beyond that point, upon finishing the hard work of the day, what would you like to do next?
Drink.
Yeah,
Great.
celebrate our victories.
Obviously, we would go back to report to Albrecht,
Okay.
how long the Crumpets have been there, how long Alaric is thought to be missing, and then what we had to do in order to stop them.
While also mentioning that it hadn't been used in a while, so,
That too, yes.
Nilda said that she was pretty sure she saw him. Strange. Why would she say that? Can't say for certain.
Oh man.
Do we know for certain that these creatures, what'd you call them?
Flint.
What would you call
What are they called again?
them?
Kruthiks.
Kruthiks, okay.
Oh, Kruthiks.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, I was calling them Crumpets.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
Spell it out.
You can't. How can you do cricket without crumpet? And so anyway, Why would Ranilda say that? We're certain that Elric's disappearance has to do with these Kruthiks, right?
I do not think the Kruthiks were involved. I think he may have been gone for longer than we think. Because the way the barn looked, they have been there for quite some time.
There
Well,
was a lot of eggs.
eggs, huh?
Emphasis on were.
And they had burrowed.
Milo kind of says, 2 weird creatures today. I'm through. I'm gonna. Looks at Balgar. You're playing, right? Fucking grab 5. I'll grab 5. He kind of walks around the back and just pours himself 5 tankards and walks over to a table. A couple of other people kind of show up at this point and sit with Milo, who Lose you would recognize as Hasanti and Kellen and Cliver and Tolan. Tolan and Kellen are kind of more competent soldiers than Milo is. Cliver is a scout. She is elvish as well. And she's kind of more nature-y than Lose, I believe, would be. Bit more rangery. But yeah, the only 2 people who are not related to Balthild, or the only 3 people who are not related to Balthild that are not here, are Anusha, Milena, and Lana.
Mm.
But everybody else is kind of here sitting with Milo drinking. Albrecht says to Orlandus, you got to go speak to Balthild regarding Castia and your plans for tomorrow. And I'm sure you've got some setting up you need to do, Master Blaze Hatchet, regarding your set tonight. So
Aye.
have at that. But kind of looks over to Lose. You mind going and talking to Renilda for me?
So we're
She, why would she tell us Elric she saw him 3 days ago? You're saying that it's been more than a 6-day. It
might
seems
be
that,
seeing things, might not be seeing things. I'll find out for you though.
or maybe if what Orlandus says is right, the reason why they took up house is because house is empty.
Hmm. I she'll look to the others. Think I should take 1 or 2 of them?
If I was overhearing correct, I think our other bard friend has plans for the evening.
True enough. I'll go check on her.
Alright.
Did you say that she was here?
Renilda is at number 6 is Renilda's farm.
Oh, so she's just down the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me make sure I have note of that. Oh, I do have that. Yeah, I'll go that way.
Okay. And then Balgar, you're preparing for performing this evening. Orlandus, you're heading to Balthild's farm.
Yeah.
And that leaves Astrogoth and Glint, which, if I overheard correctly earlier, I know what you're doing, but you can change it and do what you like.
No, I'm a man of my word.
Which one was Bathild's farm again?
19.
19? Okay, thank you.
So, Glint and Astrogoth, if you are heading that way, you could probably walk with Orlandus for a time down the Red Hill, because that's the way to Sepulture's Barrow.
Oh, okay.
I mean, again, I don't want to force anything, so I'll shut
No.
up. I just want to make sure
Right.
that that's accurate.
Astrogoth is heading to the Barrow, correct?
I thought that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
At least
Okay.
it
Hell
was.
yeah. Absolutely.
Stop
Yeah,
railroading us, John!
Start heading for the
I-
door, and Glint's like, look, and he's like chugging down his beer and slamming it on the bar.
I'm sorry if that came off railroady. I apologize, but
No,
it
no,
was
it's totally
it was
fine.
said
I was kidding.
earlier.
I was
Okay,
kidding.
okay.
I was not expecting it to be that easy. Like, one does not simply walk into the Barrow.
Astrogoth does.
Well, you don't, but I do.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh my god,
Fucking excellent.
fucking rad.
Yeah. I go where I please.
Glint's gonna kind of, he I wouldn't say he completely changes his clothes, but kind of like dresses himself down.
Okay.
Might like lose the coat or whatever.
Do you go back
Or
to your
like-
house to grab to put your clothes up, or do you leave them here with Aldrich?
I mean, if he'll hang on to it for me, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Glint definitely doesn't want to be walking into the barrow looking like he normally does,
I will say,
or looking like a monster hunter.
I will kind of cut you off here for a second and explain to you out of character. Albrecht will go through your things while you're gone. So whatever you leave behind, you don't know this in character, but Albrecht is very much in a paranoid position, so he's going to go through your stuff.
That's fine.
So-
It's really going to be. I'm taking as much of my kit with me as I can without
Sure.
looking like super conspicuous.
Absolutely fine. But yeah, he goes through your pockets, looks through if there's any kind of journals or ledgers or books. Probably not, but he does go through your
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I definitely keep that stuff on me.
Okay. And Balgar, you'd
Those are
probably
like my tools.
you'd probably notice that Albrecht does do this, kind of turns over his stuff that's left behind while you're
That's
getting
fine.
ready.
He's gonna get my coat and my hat and an extra short sword and my shield and
Cool.
probably my. Yeah, I'll take my rapier with me.
Cool.
Um,
So
Yeah.
you walk along the way with Orlandis, who will be stopping at Ballfields, and then Lose, you're heading to Renilda's, and Balgar, you're remaining here and getting ready to perform for the locals. Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and deal with. Let's go ahead and deal with Orlandis first.
Okay.
You make it to the farm. As we've kind of discussed, it's a farm that's kind of built around this old ruined temple. You get there, and Balfield is kind of waiting for you on the porch, sitting on a seat. Her axe is kind of not too far away from her, and she kind of looks over at you and says, "You took the girl out. You took her out without any permission. You did, and she could have been harmed. And she wasn't. That's fine, but what the hell? I thought we had a better agreement regarding this."
We do. I am sorry. It sort of just happened. She was there and she wanted to come along to make sure. Shit, what was his name?
Elric.
Brunlock.
No.
Or-
Brunlock. She wanted to make sure that he was okay. And
Was he?
yes, he was a little scratched up, a little hurt, but
Did she help
with
with that?
Gus, yes. She showed expertise with bandaging him and healing him.
To be completely honest with you, Orlandis looks over at the window, looks at the door, and looks at you. Kid's got a lot of potential.
She does.
A lot more than I want to admit. And I feel like whatever's wrong with her and why she can't remember what she's able to do, the stuff she's doing. I've seen maidens of the Church of Jernaris and Heisrick do less.
It is a little scary, I will admit, but all in all, she is doing good things, good deeds.
Yeah, if she's able to keep fighters like you, fighters like Lose, fighting, I mean, who am I to stop her from being able to help where she can?
You just worry. There is nothing wrong with worry.
Well, for sure, she saved my kid. One of them. Two of them. And, you know, we saved her from the patrol and all, but I just feel like she's so innocent, so naive. But I feel like if maybe she gets some experience in her, it wouldn't hurt, and I think she's ready for it. What are you planning on doing next for Albrecht?
Well, right now we just found out that there were creatures under the mill. They were called Kruthiks.
The Rivers Mill?
something. Yes. under Elric's. Bill.
Yeah, Elric Rivers. Oh, creatures. I heard from Sarth that there were some creatures underneath pond or over at Varnador's pond. Seems like we got a lot of stuff rising up, bubbling up to the surface as of late.
Yes.
But it's not Denisovans.
No. It seems we are caught between a rock and a hard place.
You planning on routing them out tomorrow? Or you got something else planned?
Tomorrow we will go.
What do you mean?
Shit, what was it? Out of character, we were going down into the pond in the morning? Oh no, we were going to go check for the dwarven
The
masterpieces.
The
forges,
stout. In the Stoutwood. At a place that was described as the Black Spear.
Yes. We were going to a place called the Black Sphere or something in the Stout Woods.
Never heard of it. But yeah, good thing you saved Brunlock. He knows quite a bit about the Stoutwood. Take her with you. Make sure she's okay, and I'm sure she'll do the same for you. But I think the best way to jog her memory might be doing things instead of helping out around the house. Plus, she's not terribly good at it, to be honest. She looks like a farm girl, and I thought she might be savvy, but she's filled with divine magic instead.
These things happen. The gods are fickle in these ways.
I'll let her know. We'll have her meet you at the Rusty Blade before around dawn, if that's when you're planning on leaving.
Okay. Are you aware of what Sarf wishes to do?
Yeah. He's a bit of a hothead, to be sure. From what I was told, when Alice had problems with the fish folk over at Varnador's pond, he wanted to swim down there and fight him with his fists.
Yes.
Not exactly the smartest thing. Why? What are you thinking?
Well, Albrecht came up with the idea to temper his machinations just a bit, and he wants us to bring him with us to the Dwarven Forge or Forgery.
Well, Cassia has the ability to pull the white winds and stitch up flesh. What was cut. Sarth can get really mad and swing his axe. If you feel like that's someone you want to bring along with you into the wilds as you go look for dwarven relics, I'm not going to say no. Whatever help you need. Especially if you find him a dwarven axe, that'd probably make him really happy.
Hopefully.
But I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm not so sure if you're going out somewhere dangerous, he's going to be super helpful. But yeah, if you want to take him along with you and give him some training, sure. If that's what Albrecht thinks.
I believe it will help. He needs to use some of that frustration.
I'll personally.
Not on the Denisovans, but at least hone it somewhere.
I'll personally deliver the kids tomorrow morning. Sorry I can't go running off into the woods with you. I do have a house and home to keep protected.
We have too many things to do here. I would never ask you that.
I do appreciate you, and if you do find some really cool dwarven artifacts, as you said, maybe bring me back one. You know I'm capable. You
Yes, of course.
might be more capable with an artifact.
The hope is that we give everyone at least something.
Great. Yeah, it's a good idea. I wish Albrecht had mentioned this sooner. Probably would have been able to do it bit easier when we had, the full family. But-
Indeed.
Be seeing you tomorrow then, Orlandis.
Okay.
Cutscene moving to Astrogoth and Glint. You two make your way to the Sepulture's Barrow, which I'm trying to move us to as we speak. Bam. Okay. So when you arrive at the front gate, the gate is shut as it's later in the evening. There are a couple of lanterns outside, and you can see two Denisotvan guards who I don't have the art on Roll20 yet because just been pressed, but if you go into the art dump, they're a little ways up. I will see if I can't move them to show you, but their armor is kind of a bronze, brassy color. They have the marks of Atavius kind of present on their person, red cloaks, and massive kind of cutting blades that they keep kind of idly off to their sides. Astrogoth, being kind of historically sound, would know that their helmets have dark vision goggles kind of set inside of their helmets so they can see very well at night. And their blades are made out of mithril, so even though they are of a larger size, they are exceptionally light, allowing for them to kind of maneuver them a bit more dynamically than you'd expect of these massive weapons that they wield. The two that see you recognize Astrogoth and say, "Hail, you are heading inside again. Who is this with you?"
Oh, just someone wanted to learn the craft. Figured he'd come along and see how it's done.
Well, we're not technically allowed to let anyone besides you in, according to the captain. You have been given this permission specifically to entertain the men. Looks to Glint. The other one says, "Doesn't look like much of a performer to me."
That's why he needs all the practice he can get. And practice starts by watching.
Persuasion roll. That was
I did not mean to roll twice, I'm sorry.
It's a weird
Darn.
double click. We'll go with the first one. I'm sorry, but we would have to speak to the captain regarding this. If you wish to leave him here at the gate, we can certainly do that, but anything else would require further action. The other one says, "Don't be so coy with him. Tell him exactly what you mean. No reason to use such fanciful language." The other one says, "A bribe could be in order."
Glint starts patting himself down and pulls out a fistful of coins.
What do you got?
I've got 5 gold pieces.
You hear the scoff behind their helmet. "What do you think we are? Midtown
Hold on,
whores?"
wait. Hold on, there's more. He starts patting himself down again, reaches into another pocket, and pulls out another handful of coins. So now he has 8 gold.
Looks over at Astrogoth.
I'll just shake my head like unbelievingly and pull out so character creation, I thought I had 80 gold, but I don't know if that's right.
Yeah.
But okay. I'll give them 10 gold in combination with what he has. Or actually, I'll just bring it up to 20 gold. 10
Okay.
for me, 10 for him, essentially.
Okay. They'll take the 20. They kind of parse that out between the two of them, and they look at you for like a second, and then the one on the right side kind of walks over, pulls a lever, and the gate opens up to allow you entrance. We'll be seeing you.
Absolutely.
Good luck on your
Thank you.
Good luck on your training.
Yes. I'm looking forward to the performance of Astrogoth the Great and Magnificent.
You enter into this space, and you descend down into what is basically like a wine cellar steps around the back and towards the south side. When you enter into the space, the first thing that you kind of come into upon entering in is a series of steps. We're kind of over here now. I'm going to zoom in on that spot here as well. And if you want, you can drag and drop your tokens onto the map if you'd like, but it's not absolutely necessary. A winding stair that kind of moves through some space. When you get down to the landing on the steps, there's a guy sitting at a small desk. Hears you kind of coming, stands up. As he kind of comes to his full height, he's probably about 9 foot tall, and is only maybe about a foot away from the ceiling. His arms drop down to his knees, so he's got a very impressive reach, even so for a bugbear as well, but appears to be human. Looking down at you, Glint, he says, "Who's the new guy?" as he turns to look over at Astrogoth.
Someone
You
who
must
thinks
get this a lot, but you are very tall.
Thanks. Then looks back at Astrogoth.
someone who thinks he has the chops to make it in the musical field. Figured he'd give him a couple of nights to see how it's done and if he actually has the guts for it.
You got him past the guard, so I assume it's fine with the captain?
Of course, I wouldn't have brought him otherwise.
More than fair. It's pretty quiet tonight. Only a couple of people are inside. But yeah, he holds out a bag and hands it to Astrogoth. And whatever they tip you. Enjoy. And good luck, new guy.
Oh, thank you.
You go into the space. The door that you're kind of moving through is an iron door that's pretty well locked. But he comes down with you to open the door and allow you into the space. There are 3 tables. At current, there are just 2 people in this space, not at the tables. They're sitting in these really nice chairs, looking at a bright fireplace. Sitting between them on the side table there is a very ornate-looking vase-like device with a number of strange hoses kind of extending out from it. And they kind of are holding these hoses close to their mouths and imbibing some sort of smoke and breathing it out into the space. They're just quietly kind of sitting there, but as the door opens, they of course turn their attention towards you, and one of them says, "Aha! Entertainment, finally."
I imagine I would have told Blint essentially just to stand off to the side, keep an eye on me, but I figured that since we would be in a position primarily performing, it would allow him to keep an eye out and see if he recognizes anyone or anything while I'm doing my thing.
Okay.
So you want me standing at the back of the room, kind of behind everybody else?
So, for Astrogoth, you would know that typically you're just allowed to kind of move around the space, perform as you like, if there's dance included in your performance, so on, so much the better. But if it comes to a point where, it's kind of a busy spot, the performing area is over in this back corner. It kind of serves as a makeshift stage. The side table, is a place where you can kind of set out your instruments after preparing them. And then as you're playing one, if you need to shift to another, the table's there for you to kind of move to. If there isn't anybody over by the fireplace, sometimes you'll kind of take a seat at the very, very comfortable chairs that are at the fireplace. But inside of the space, it's pretty much you're either playing in the corner, moving around as you like, or lackadaisically sitting at the fire.
Okay. I guess in that case, it would probably be better to have him stand off away from, maybe just by the fire, I guess. Maybe over. You said we came in down.
Here. So you would have came in through the south entrance.
Right. Maybe, I can't ever get this to work. This seat right here, over by the fire, kind of keep an eye on where we came in. I think it would be a good field of view.
Okay. So you're kind of sitting with these guards, kind of over by them, because they're taking up these two main seats here. And then Astrogoth gets to work. The two guys kind of are a bit, confused by your presence, Clint. And you would recognize that they appear to be kind of wearing similar armor to the guys you just talked to. Unlike those guys, they don't have massive mithril blades. Instead, it looks like they both have a pair of daggers that are kind of settled on their belts on either side of their hip. Hips. They kind of look at you a bit confused, and they say, "Who are you?"
Oh, I'm here to study and learn from Astrogoth.
Raises up the hose. You play with agony?
I'm sorry, what is that?
Do you play with agony?
Does Clint know what agony is?
Make an Arcana roll.
I got 11.
Nope.
No, I've got plenty. I've had my fill of agony.
Okay, you're lost. Imbibes, breathes out. The smoke you can now see at a bit of a closer position to it has a bit of a reddish tinge to it.
Interesting.
Wait, are they smoking agony?
They are smoking agony, that's right.
God damn.
Yeah.
They're metal as fuck.
What's agony?
Agony, also known as liquid pain, is a drug that's distilled through torture. You remove
okay,
it,
I kind of, yeah.
You extract it from people. Yeah, it's very evil in its creation. But yeah, I assume being a more worldly individual than Glint appears to be. Do you have Arcana trained Astrogoth?
I do not. I decided to go with history instead.
So you don't know the details of agony, but you know what it is. It's a drug. You don't know how it affects people. You probably have never taken it because you're not addicted. Okay, so go ahead and make either musical instrument, or performance check, your choice, Astrogoth, as you start to kind of settle in. It's pretty bad. And you can actually see, Glint, that the mood of the individuals kind of sours a bit, and they kind of set the hoses back onto the smoking apparatus and kind of just try to relax. And it seems that they're talking amidst themselves, but you can definitely tell that they were talking about things a bit more casually on entry and seemed more laid back. But as the music's kind of become... and also you being close to them seems to kind of set them off to talking about just general shit.
He kind of looks around and then he shrugs at Astrogoth, like he's not really sure what to do. And he said we had to get through a heavily locked iron door to get down here, right? So that heavily locked iron door is between us and the outside world?
Yep.
Okay. And also on the other side of that door is a 9-foot tall gorilla.
Denisovan, yeah.
Okay.
The door would open again as you're contemplating that, and as you're kind of performing your first and very horrible bit of performance here. And in walk 3 more individuals who kind of give nods to the people in the chairs. One of them kind of walks over to Astrogoth and smiles, and drops 5 gold into your kind of collection apparatus and says, "You were really great the other night. Hopefully you're just as good tonight." Smiling.
Anything you want to hear?
I mean, honestly, the Ballad of Ryan you did the other night was quite good. But feel free to mix it up and play whatever you'd like. And
Can do.
the vein of the Ballad of Ryan is kind of like, if you are familiar with like old kind of minstrels of yesteryear, they would spend long times kind of telling long stories, especially French ones, about wartime heroes, and it would just be like this heroic tale kind of told over, 30 minutes to an hour. And the Ballad of
Yeah,
Ryan,
the medieval version of a rock ballad, essentially.
correct. That's effectively what the Ballad of Ryan is. It's about a old human who helped fight dragons during the War of Sword and Serpent.
Okay.
But yeah, if you kind of move into the next kind of playing, the iron door is kind of left open. It's not locked or anything at this point. And there are 3 more individuals who've kind of taken up this table over here in the corner. But yeah, if you want to try an instrument, you can with charisma, or you can go for another performance roll. There should be a tools section in the bottom left there.
Yeah, I only have thieves' tools there. I didn't actually put an instrument in there. I was looking at that.
Did you get training in any of them or no?
I didn't see an option for it during character creation, so I just did thieves' tools. But I can change that to...
No, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Keep these tools. Performance is fine enough to kind of try and fake it. And that's okay. Like, the instrument's not really... I don't think it's the draw for your stories and your...
No. I mean, the music's not necessarily going to be great, but it's when I start moving things while playing music that gets their attention.
Absolutely. So go ahead and give me one more... Yep. Okay, so you start actually going in on a tale. And again, whatever the tale is, you can make it up however you like, and it seems to be captivating. And the guy who tipped you 5 somewhere in like the first 5-10 minutes of it walks over and drops another 10 gold into the pot. Glint, you're kind of toe tapping over in the corner, yeah, it doesn't seem like the people that just walked in you recognized. Nobody here is someone you know, and nothing seems to be kind of different. It's just that there seems to be, quite a few people who appear to be frequenting this place after a fashion. Probably close to the end of that set. This room is now filled out. All chairs are taken.
Where do I go to take a leak?
Back out the way you came. The guy says, just tell Drugar that you got to use the facilities. He's going to point you off to a corner.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And then he kind of like hustles away.
Do you check in with Astrakoth?
Oh, yeah, I just kind of do one of these. It's like a very generic gesture. Like,
Okay.
it is intentionally vague.
So once you get up to the steps, Drugar kind of points outside, or points back to the door. He says, when you first step out, there's going to be a small little corner on the building just south of the steps. Go ahead and relieve yourself there. It's fine. Nobody gives a shit.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Hustle outside to the designated corner. Can you go ahead and put me wherever this designated corner is?
Yeah.
I would think a fancier place would have something a little bit more than a corner, but...
Well,
Yeah, this was almost too easy.
They don't have access to the building upstairs.
Oh,
Okay,
right, gotcha.
do I see anybody?
Remember, it's kind of like a speakeasy, so...
Do I see anybody?
No. There's some lights kind of present in the building if you do urinate on, is there, but it does sound like there are people on the other side of the building from you, like over here.
Okay, can I utilize my disguise kit to sort of like put a mask on or something, like a hood maybe?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I want to climb this wall and sneak across this roof and kind of peek over the edge to see what's going on back here.
Okay. You don't have a climb speed, right?
I do have a climb speed.
Okay, then go ahead and make a stealth check.
Do you know parkour?
We're about to find out. I got a 10.
Nope.
So, as you kind of make your way
God.
up onto the building, you hear on the opposite side, what was that noise? And then you start hearing people kind of moving around on the other side. But you're able to catch a peek, like once you get up there, and see that there's a break in the wall, and there are two guards that are kind of standing near a well. But the second that they kind of like catch wind of the sound, one of them's moving to the north and kind of coming around to where you started, and the other one's kind of moving to here. It looks like there's a spot where he can kind of climb up onto the roof if he wanted to. What would you like to do in response?
Let me see. Are these like loose ceiling tiles over here?
They appear to be.
Yeah, I want to use Mage Hand to throw a loose ceiling tile into the alley over there.
Okay.
Make a lot of noise.
Go ahead and make a deception roll. Keeping in mind, you do not cast Mage Hand silently.
It requires no verbal or somatic components.
Really?
Yeah. This is from the telekinetic feat.
Oh, right. So yeah, you do cast it silently. Very cool. It's just your brain. So make a
Yep.
deception roll.
God damn it.
You manage to throw the stone. The one who was kind of heading in that direction kind of keeps going, but the guy who was kind of moving towards climbing up the roof anyways is now doing so. And he's about to make it up to the top. What would you like to do in response?
Okay, so one of the guys is coming up to the top, and the other guy's where?
So there's one guy who's kind of making his way to where you drop the ceiling tile.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I'm going to slide back down the roof and hide.
Go ahead and make another stealth roll. This one's at disadvantage.
Yeah, I want to get down into the corner below the edge of the roof.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
yeah, I got a 23 there.
you see the guy kind of up above you as you kind of drop into that corner and kind of like get hidden. And the guy kind of standing on top of it is kind of doing one of these with his really long arms, kind of looking around and keeping an eye out. You'd also see that light's kind of pulling around you a bit after a fashion. And you as a monster hunter know that it's probably the case that they have dark vision through the helmets, but are using light as well. And the reason why that is a lot of creatures are able to blend into shadows and obscure themselves from dark vision. Yeah. Gloomstalkers is the main class that I can kind of point to, but there are other people who do it. But you managed to hide yourself well enough. Do you go back inside to get back to Astrogoth, or do you continue to try and be reckless and do stuff?
I mean, do I get the impression? Are there
You
like
get the
other
impression
guards
that if
nearby?
you try stuff, you're probably going to have an issue with guards for certain.
Okay, that's fair.
Plus, if you were to make yourself too much of a known nuisance, you would probably neuter my ability to get in here, which would also.
No, yeah,
mean you
that's
can't
true.
get in.
That's true.
If you head back inside, we're going to go ahead and cut from this,
Yeah, we'll
Group.
do that.
and we're going to shift to Lose. So you make your way to Renilda's farm. It's a quaint little farm over there on the west side of Midtown. The lights are on. You step up to the door, knock. The door opens, and Ronilda, who you know, it's kind of middle-aged, probably somewhere in her 40s, woman. She's, pretty. Let me shift the map. The music is a bit.
It's spooky.
Yeah, and I don't want that to be the case. So she is very much kind of a farmer. Tan skin, bruises, and kind of scratches from the day's work. But kind of like a sternness to her. And she kind of, upon opening, she goes, "Lose, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Albrecht sent you?"
Yeah, I was just wanting to check in on ya. We're down at
We're doing fine.
oh, you're doing fine. Good.
Yeah.
We were down at the mill. You had said that you saw now I can't remember his goddamn name. Ellery?
Lurk.
Elric. Eluric.
There it is. Said you saw Elric about 3 days ago?
Yeah, what of it?
Oh,
Go ahead.
it's just...
Go ahead and make an insight roll as we continue, though.
Okay. Probably not gonna be good. 10.
She definitely seems to be kind of put off, but you're not sure why.
Yeah. Well, I was just checking on you because it didn't look like anyone had been in there for quite a while.
Wait, you went
Quite.
you went into the mill?
Yeah, it was infested.
Infested? With
Yeah.
what?
It's not Krithix.
Huh. I don't
It's everywhere. Disgusting. Smelled rank.
I don't know anything about that. Was he okay?
No sign of him.
Huh. Yeah, I can't say for certain what would have happened to him. Sorry,
It's alright. Did you just happen to see shadows through the windows, or?
someone was moving around inside, yeah.
Oh. Big, tall.
I didn't
Same
get much of a look out of him. You know, the windows are so tiny.
That's true. I always thought that he needed bigger ones.
For sure.
Well, sorry to bother you again. I just wanted to make sure that you were alright, especially since Elric is missing, but you know how it goes around here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Might have been a patrol that got him.
That would be very unfortunate.
Well, if anything comes up, I'll make sure Albrecht knows.
Perfect, thank you.
You got it.
Anytime you need help, just give us a... You know where to find us.
Make a perception roll.
I am not rolling good.
She nods very cordially, kind of gives you like a nod and kind of sees you out. Like, didn't really invite you in too much.
Mhm.
Kind of like right there at the foyer.
Well,
Yeah, like a
doorway chat.
doorway chat, and then she kind of closes the door behind you, and seems nothing's, terribly wrong there. Seems okay.
Just upset.
Yeah.
Cranky.
Well, it's late,
It's the evening, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably right after dinner. Meanwhile, back at the Rusty Blade, Balgar, you start performing. Go ahead and make up either performance or a musical instrument check, your choice. And I'll shift us to the Rusty Blade. Yeah, you start giving it your gusto, and it's probably mid-6th day at this point, say Wednesday. And so people are kind of filling in, but like not terribly packed, right? You see several familiar faces. You've been doing this for a while. The one face that you kind of like, hey, you see Brunlock. He's here. He's kind of got like a chipper attitude, and a couple of the locals seem to have already kind of caught wind of the story of how he got caught in the well. And so there's a lot of people who are coming up to him, slapping him on the shoulder, buying him a drink, and being really cordial and pleasant with Brunlock. You perform, and again, as is the case with Astrogoth, you perform at your pleasure, however you'd like. Typically, they kind of just have you sit like off in the middle here, and you kind of just play to the room that way. There's also some folks who jump up on the bar when there are more kind of crazy elements, but I'm assuming you're going for a bit more of a reserved storytelling kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody seems to be very into it. But again, like during it, it's probably got like sets, kind of beats where you kind of pause and kind of do stuff besides. There are farmers about. You would recognize a couple of them by name, specifically Brunlock, who I mentioned. You would know Humbert Rowland, who is a farmer who's not too far from the press. And you'd also see Aegon, the gnome over at the general store, and you see Kavar Vernador, who was the tinkerer Janarin that was mentioned, who has the house on the pond.
All right.
Okay. Do you want?
I
ahead.
guess during one of the first sets, I'd like to approach Brunlock.
Oh, hey, Oliver, thank you so much for earlier today. I cannot express how much I appreciate it, and I hope that silly rock is, worth something to you.
I'm just glad you're all right, friend.
That's a really good first bit of the story there. Can't wait to hear the rest of it.
Oh yeah, it'll be a good one for sure. I've been meaning to ask you, Brunlock. Out in the Stoutwood, do you know of an old fortress, an old redoubt? What was it called? The Dark Spear.
I've been told it was called the Black Spear.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten too close to know that there's a fort. It's just a big kind of cairn, really, kind of rocky hill.
But you know where it is.
Yeah, I know about.
Have you seen anything strange in the area?
Well, I know that that's kind of where those woods folk that I was talking about, I think they might be forest orcs, but they could also be elves. I never really got a good line on them. I try and keep a good distance, though. Woods folk like that kind of got a itchy bow finger.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, they typically don't mess with me too much when it comes to me picking apples. But I don't delve too deep into in and around the Black Spear. I have been a couple of times. Really interesting. Some of the trees bear white apples closer to the spear.
Have you ever tried to pick any of those?
I haven't had a chance to, unfortunately. Again, that one of those times I spotted the woodsman folk was one of those times I was trying to get in close to one of those trees. And it seemed like they were a bit territorial, so I didn't want to test my luck.
Probably for the best. Any idea what the white apples might be?
No, I know that from research and from old recipe books my mom had, there used to be white apples up north in kind of Lavidia and around the city of Penford. Just a strain of apples that grow coast to coast, I guess. I think Mom used to call them magic apples, or I can't remember the name of them, or I can't remember the way the word was said. It's like Rididum, which you would kind of key if you have Arcana trained. Residium would be the word that he's trying to say, which is a magical dust.
I do have a train, and I rolled history just to see if I recognize what he was talking about, referencing Ledvidia and everything.
Yeah, magic apples, not unlike magic mushrooms. They're kind of plants that have been imbued with residuum in their growth cycle at some point, and kind of imbue that in the thing that's been generated. Magic mushrooms are a bit more wild magic, but magic apples, from what you recall, kind of grant a simpler boon.
Pretty cool. Well, I plan on taking a trip out that way. I'll try to grab you a few of these apples if you got some good recipes you think you could.
I would appreciate it. Yeah, I got a pie I've been thinking about. My mom says it's best with those, and I'd love to make it. If I do, and you're the one who brought it to me, I'll save you a slice.
That's all I could ask. I appreciate that, friend.
Thank you so much. Any other questions for Brunlock?
Nah.
All right. Continuing your set, probably not far into this kind of next bit. Lose would probably arrive back. She didn't have much to handle. And Orlandus would probably arrive shortly after that. Had a little bit further to walk.
Next I'd just keep on playing simple, telling stories about the area, about Janaris.
Any specific individuals? You know a Goliath from here that traveled relative and related to the Gar Subnim, Gar, the Goliath who was a great bard himself.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
So the story of Gar. But not including the part where he got manhandled by Meridians. Definitely never tell that tale again. So, Orlandis, Lose, Balgar, you arrive back, and you continue your music playing. And then on the opposite side of this coin, Astrogoth, you kind of play out the rest of the night. Glint, when you enter back in, and Astrogoth during your sets, the people who are present here are pretty much all guards. They're all Denisov warrior types. If there's anything that you'd like to kind of ask or try and engage with them without being too obvious, you can certainly try. And then on the opposite side, Orlandis, Lose, and Balgar. Inside of the Rusty Blade, as I mentioned, you've got Kevar Varnador, who is the tinkerer at the lake. You have Humbert Rallin, who is a simple farmer who's not too far from the Rusty Blade. And Brunlock, as I mentioned, is also present.
Is there anyone here in the Rusty Blade that stays near Elric's farm or mill?
Let me take a look here real quick. Actually, 4 is right across the way from the watermill. Yeah. So that would be Rallin's farm.
Rallin? Okay.
Hmm?
Orlandis will go try to speak to Rallin.
Well, hi!
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great.
You live near Elric's mill, yes?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed anything, strange happening?
Yeah, just the other night I was heading up Watermill Lane back home after drinking here, listening to the great stories coming from the dwarf, and this little fucker came out of nowhere, out of the shadows, and tried to stab me in my leg. I beat him with my stick.
And he kind of raises up like his stick, which appears to be like a pretty meaty sized club.
And
Yeah.
I left it out there for dead, not too far from my spot. But I'm assuming the wild animals got him. It was a weird little fucker. Looked like a dragon dog.
A dragon dog. It had 6 legs, yes?
Fuck if I know. I didn't count him. I just beat the shit out of it.
That is fair. Okay.
Didn't have any legs anymore.
But this happened when
Yeah.
you were going home, yes?
I'd say about 2, maybe 3 nights ago. I don't know. I'm fucking drunk.
Has anything similar happened, within the last 2 days?
No. They're probably scared of me. If there's more of them. Is that what you're
That
saying?
is good.
Is there more of them?
Hopefully not. We ran into a similar problem earlier today,
Shit.
but we should have gotten rid of most, if not all.
Okay. Well, great then. Fuck it. Do the same thing to them Denisovans. Yeah. Give them what for.
We will try. Just on your way home tonight, be vigilant, just in case.
Shit, yeah. Humbert kind of looks down. You can see that he's already gone through about 5 beers. And is Orlandis a person who pays attention to the details of people, or like someone who cares, or is it just something that you don't pay attention to?
He tries to notice as many things as he can.
Humbert Rallin is a bit of a drunkard.
Yeah.
He's like the town drunk. And if you didn't pay too much attention, you don't know why. But yeah, you would know that he's typically out here at the Rusty Blade, typically talking about some stupid gossip in the town and trying to get involved and invested in it. And
Mhm.
more often than not is kind of just on the outskirts of the conversation, not really saying much and just drinking his fill or more.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask him one more thing. Have you heard? This is before Losay told anything to anyone about Renilda. But have you heard anything weird about Renilda? Out of the norm?
Heard about? No, but I did see something pretty strange, and I'm pretty sure Varnador could probably vouch for me on this. Not that long ago, a patrol of Denisotvids kind of snuck out of the woods near Varnador's pond and headed on over to Renilda's. Yeah, about 6 of them. You know, the ones that look like bug faces with their gold armor and their red capes.
I see. This is not good, but thank you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know if she's consorting with them or not, or if she's got something they're looking for. But they were definitely interested. Stayed there for about an hour, maybe 2, for what I saw. But I'm not terribly great with time. You might want to ask Varnador.
Okay, well, thank you. Anyway, I will confirm with him. Okay.
Sure. Hey, since we were talking, being all chummy, how about you buy me a drink?
I'll buy him a drink.
All right. He's drinking piss. He's drinking piss, or he's actually drinking apple cider. So, yeah,
Okay.
it runs you
Okay.
2 copper.
That's fine. I will confirm the story though.
Yeah, if you go over to Varnador will say, "Oh, hey, well, I wasn't expecting him to tell anybody about that. I was definitely concerned, and I kind of mentioned it to Albrecht, but not really. It was about an hour or 2 hours. He's not wrong.
Does this happen a while? Or I mean,
Just-
has this been happening for a while? Or?
just the one time. About maybe 6 day or 2 ago. About the same time that the well,
No, it is about the same time a lot of shit has been happening.
no, that's really strange. About the same time my fish started disappearing.
About the 6th day or 2 ago.
Yeah, about right.
This is strange.
Well, your folks came out and did that whole. Your folks came out and did that thing with the pond and what have you, and said there were fish people down there.
I am not too aware of the situation with the pond, but I will figure everything I can out.
Well, I was checking my books, and if it is what Hollis said it was, he was down there. It sounds like it's Kuatoa, and they're supposed to live deep in the Foul Deep, like deep, deep. Like,
yes, this is what I have heard too.
so what are they doing in my pond?
That is a mystery we must confront, I guess.
Well, hopefully you folks have it in your efforts to help. I mean, it's not too big a deal. We were just done getting most of the fish out. They just took a pretty good percentage of what we were looking at getting for the month. But we haven't reseeded it yet. We gotta pull some fish out of the river and get them ready for spawning. But it's fine. If you find it in your heart to go fight the fish people in our pond, I know that's logistically probably not going to be something too easy to do.
Yeah, this sounds like it will be a challenge.
Oh, did he tell you about that dog dragon
Yes. Yes.
My book says it's a Kruthic, and I actually have its body over at my place if you want to take a look.
You have the body?
Yeah, so I experiment a little bit with taxidermy, kind of a trend I picked up from my cousin over in Marshtown. And
Okay.
I'm kind of, it's something I'd never seen before, and the book said it was kind of a rare creature. Didn't have too much about it, other than it was created by something called a chiton, which is like an evil, like fiendish creature. I don't know. But I'm figuring I'm just going to go ahead and mount it on my wall. Maybe put it on a shelf or something. It's not too big. And it's really cool looking. Well, it will be once I'm done with it.
I do not know how to feel about that, but if it is your passion, then there is
Not a passion.
no
Hobby
judgment.
Hobby, more or less. But, like, I guess most folks, especially Parnans like yourself, aren't too keen on keeping corpses, I guess. Kind of cool.
I do not judge.
You invite somebody over, you got a Kruthic hanging out on your shelf. It's a conversation starter, you know?
That is true. I will give you this. Yes, that will be quite a conversation to have.
Usually the conversation would probably start with, what the fuck is that?
Indeed. Would you like me to buy you a drink?
Sure.
I buy him a drink too.
Okay. Another 2 coffee.
After that, I just hang out with Lasse.
All right. Well, Lasse, yeah. While he's moving around, you of course can move around as well. So.
She'd catch Albrecht up real quick while ordering a drink, just saying, well, I talked to her and she seemed perfectly fine, grumpy, but
Yeah, Barnador mentioned something about a patrol near there. That's kind of weird, but again, I don't know. I don't know what to think, you know?
it's trying times. If she had a patrol coming up on her, I doubt she really wants to talk, because they might have eyes on her.
Maybe that's why she was tense. Okay. And kind of, meanwhile, Astrogoth and Glint, if you want to jump in, I know it's a different scene that you're in, but just imagine both are kind of going at the same time. If you have anything you want to try and fish out of the guards, if not, you're pretty much just going to play, kind of see the situation, move on, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I can't really think of much else to do other than maybe just try to like spy on and study the Dennis Sappins that are there. See if any of them have like anything particularly interesting or anything on them that might that stands out.
The only thing I can think of is to try to keep things conspicuous. Would be perhaps when we're done on our way out, I can show him around under the guise of giving him a tour and pointing where things are before we head back. But I don't really want to press my luck, so that's probably the extent of what I'd want to try to do.
Okay.
I figured I'd probably be able to get away with that.
Yeah, you would know the safe spots that you can kind of like slow walk him through. And I'll show those here in a second. But regarding your inquiry, the only thing that you're really able to kind of muster out of the Denisotvans is their armaments. It does look like there are 3 different types of loadout, for lack of a better kind of way of phrasing it. There is the large axe-like blade thing, the mithril cleaver. There is the dagger wielders. And then there appear to be shield and spear. The spears have a very strange cross guard, kind of like a boar spear, but the cross guard is actually closer to like the butt of the spear. And Glint, you wouldn't, as you're kind of not from Jernaris in this area, you wouldn't be familiar with what that means. But Astrogoth, you would. There is a creature known as Blusa, which is a large flea-like creature, and these spears are used. The reason why they have that crossguard is to place a foot upon and hold, and when the Blusa leaps and descends, they push down with their full, like, right side on that spear into whatever they're landing on.
Damn.
Neat.
Sick.
So it's a cliff jumper, spear, and shield, and then the twin daggers and the glaive or the clave is what they're called, KLAIV or whatever. Okay, then we'll go ahead and snap to hold on a second here. Snap back to Lee and Barrow's exterior. So the spaces that you're able to kind of get an eye on here as you're exiting would be this kind of main thoroughfare, this kind of lead-in stretch. And for you, Glint, what this is able to kind of help you kind of factor in, and I'm assuming Astrogoth is explaining these details to you, the upstairs of the building that you were just underneath is kind of like a noble's house that's been kind of converted into a sort of barracks, and it's where a number of people kind of reside, probably people you just encountered. The reason why they drink underneath is because drinking is not technically something a guard should be doing or a soldier should be doing in the Denisov Fin militia, but they seem to, like most people, enjoy a good drink. Across away from that is the observatory, which is about 4 stories tall, and the top point of it has a number of different kind of windows, very ornate looking windows. And you would see throughout the time that you're here that there are lights up there, like there are people kind of out there looking around.
Damn.
This position here is the captain's hall, which has a very kind of ornate iron door, not too dissimilar from the iron door that you had down in the basement. And it would be explained to you this is where the captain takes his meals, and it's kind of an it used to be the lordly hall of the person who ruled over the town, and where they would have town hall meetings and feasts, but it now serves as the captain's kind of office. And then the true barracks is the place here to the north. That's where they keep their armaments, their gear, and also where the guards kind of, for the start of the day, kind of post up. A lot of these other buildings, Astrogoth doesn't know exactly what they are. And you would also now know, Glint, something that Astrogoth kind of knew about but didn't know the details of. The well and the 2 guards that are present there, the wall over there is broken, and it seems that the guards that are placed there are very much on a high vigil. It could be a position to sneak in without Astrogoth's clearance. That's pretty much all you're able to kind of gather. The statue that's kind of present in the center is a statue of Atavius Gratiaris, which is the avatar of Atavius, also known as, in some parlances, more Parnan than others, 20 good men. That statue there is kind of a religious, but also kind of heroic statue. But yeah, any questions about anything on that kind of thoroughfare there that you want to know about?
No, I'm much more interested in like this area.
It's going to be hard to get over there, but you can certainly try. I definitely think that the Metal Gear Solid approach can work. It's possible, but
right.
If it does alert, it's going to be problematic.
It will be problematic.
All right.
I'd much rather, I don't know, I'd like to do some more investigating and poking around and seeing if I can come up with more.
Definitely not something you'd want to do with Astrogoth's blessing here, because if you get caught, it would ruin that. Okay, perfect. Right. So then you head back home, and everybody eventually ends back up at the Rusty Blade, and it's kind of, parsed between the lot of you that tomorrow at dawn you'll meet in the common room of the Rusty Blade and make your way into the Stout Wood. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Then we'll pick up next session, next Friday, with our foray into the Stout Wood, and we will have Tom back. See you then. Thanks for watching Those That Did.